Gotcha.
I went and got my free chicken.
Yeah.
You got that free? You got free
Recording in progress.
Halloween. You get that
Evening,
yet?
everyone. We'll call to order. It is 7 p.m. This is a meeting of Whitehall City Council. It is for October 2022. Would you please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Present.
Peck,
Present.
Smith,
Present.
Bailey,
Present.
Dixon,
Present.
Elmore,
Present.
Coniston, President Potter.
Mr. Pro Temp, I'd like to make a motion to excuse the absent members, please. Second.
I have a motion by Cantor, a second by Dixon to excuse the absent members. Ms. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Peck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
The absent members have been excused. I will take a motion to approve the September 2022 agenda and a regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Pro Temp, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from September 2022 and the regular meeting minutes, please.
Second.
I have a motion by Cantor, a second by Heck to approve the minutes. Ms. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Peck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Minutes have been approved. This is our first opportunity for poll public. Anybody wishing to come forward and speak, you have up to 3 minutes. State your name and address for the record. Next, we'll move on to our standing committee reports. First is Administration and Financial Management. And we did meet last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We have several items to be introduced tonight. We will meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30. Community and Elder Advocacy, Chairperson Dixon.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Bailey. Community and Elder Advocacy met last week. Our minutes are on file. Tonight we do have Resolution 34 on the docket, which is supporting an issue 10, the renewal of the tax levy supporting senior citizen services in Franklin County. We will meet again next week around 6:30.
Economic Development, Community Standards and Enforcement, Chairperson Smith. I almost skipped you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Community Standards and Enforcement last week. We have Ordinance 54-2022 for public hearing and third reading today. Our minutes are on file, and we will meet next week.
Very good. Economic Development, Chairperson Cantor.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Temp. Economic Development met last week. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again here next week in the back. And just to let everybody know, Raising Cane's open today on East Main Street. Go visit them. That's all I have to say.
Good. Infrastructure, Maintenance and Services, Chairperson Coniston is unable to attend tonight, but they do have a couple of items to introduce. The minutes are on file, and they will meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30. That brings us to Public Safety, Chairperson Elmore.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Public Safety did meet last Tuesday. We do have legislation on the agenda. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday at 6:30. Thank you.
Parks and Recreation, Chairperson Heck.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Parks and Recreation met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We have no legislation on the agenda tonight. We will meet again this coming Tuesday sometime after 6:30.
Thank you, Joanna. That brings us to our officials' reports, and tonight we'll start off with Mayor Maggie.
Good evening. I would just like to ask Council's consideration of the passages of Ordinances 54, 55, 62, and 65, and also of Resolution 33 and Resolution 34, which is the support of Issue 10 on the ballot for this mid-November election. Thank you.
Thank you. The City Administrator, Mr. Woodruff, is not here tonight. City Attorney, Michael Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem, and members of council, and everyone that is here this evening, and everyone watching. In the month of September, the City Attorney's Office prosecuted 301 cases through our Mayor's Court and through Municipal Court. Out of those 301 cases, 49 of those were committed by Whitehall residents. That's about 16% overall. As you see, I'm wearing purple, our auditor's wearing purple, our President Pro Tem is wearing purple, and I'd like to thank even Wes Cantor's wearing a purple pin himself. But as you can see, I'd like to thank the Service Department for putting up the flags along Yearling Road. As you see those flags are purple that designate that we are in the month of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And what that purple symbolizes, it's the color that symbolizes courage, peace, honor, and dedication to ending domestic violence, so you understand what that is. Now, I know in the past I've gone over statistics of domestic violence and all of these things, and at today where we are in our life, and we were just talking to the mayor prior to council, we're past the time of the data and all of the things that support domestic violence, because that data means nothing to the person that is suffering from that right now, presently. So what I want to say publicly to members of council, to any person within the sound of my voice, if you are suffering from domestic violence, the Whitehall City Attorney's Office, we have a phenomenal victim advocate that will assist you through every phase of what you're going through. Now, as you heard, I did not say that you had to have a case pending with the Whitehall City Attorney's Office. If you are presently going through this right now in your life, you can contact my office at 614-237-9802. Again, that's 614-237-9802. If you cannot get my victim advocate, you can contact me directly, and we will get you the services that you need so that you can get on a pathway of survival, so that you can get your life back on track and you're not living in fear and with that type of pressure. So I just want council to be aware of that. I thank you for this time. As you know, I'm passionate about domestic violence. My office is passionate, and we stand ready to assist anyone that needs our help.
Thank you, Mike. City Auditor Steve Quinzel.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. I have no official report tonight. However, I would ask for your consideration on ordinances 63, 64, and 65.
Favorable, I'm sure. Brad?
What's that?
Favorable, I'm sure.
Favorable, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. You just said consideration. I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I would ask for nothing else.
Thanks, Steve. There have been no officials' reports filed in the council office since the last meeting. Under communications, petitions, and claims, we have two items. The first one is notice from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control for purchase of stock in Leo's Mexican Restaurant LLC DBA La Mecha Cana Mexican Market 3, 166 South Hamilton Road, Whitehall, Ohio 43213. And the second item is the agenda for the October 10th, 2022 BZBA meeting. Tonight we do have a public hearing, and I will go ahead and open that public hearing at this time, and it is for Ordinance 54-2022, amending the zoning map attached to Chapter 1122 of the 1970 Codified Ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, as subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.12C5 to allow Magic Real Estate Holdings LLC to operate a paintless dent removal facility on a property located at 4629, 4645, and 4651 Poff Road, and 181A, 181B, 181C, 181D, 181J, 181N, and 181P, North Hamilton Road, property owned by HCI Midwest LLC. And at this time, if there are any proponents or folks to speak in favor of ordinance 54, 2022, you may do so now.
Should I use the mic? If it's on?
It's picking up there, at that too, so.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Thad Boggs. I'm an attorney with the law firm Frost Brown Todd at 10 West Broad Street here in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm here representing the applicant this evening. The applicant in the person of Dave Miller, who is president of Magic Enterprises Incorporated, which has operated this business at this location for many years, put this rezoning application forward because some of the properties that are subject of this application needed that zoning updated to put the operation in compliance with your code. So if you have any questions this evening, either I can answer or Mr. Miller can answer, and we certainly appreciate your favorable consideration for the application this evening.
Yeah, I know Zach filled us in last week on a lot of this. Do you guys have any questions at all?
I have one. Actually, I'd like to address Mr. Miller. I want to thank you for being in the city of Whitehall. And when this was introduced 6 weeks ago to council, and I always go down Poth Road every morning, take my girls to school, but I actually made a couple of trips actually to your business. I'd like to commend you on the bumpers and the fenders. I notice you take care of them once or twice a month and you get them out of there. So you don't have much trash there.
That's right.
You have a lot of vehicles there. I've counted anywhere from 40 to 45, 46,
Yeah.
but they're always gone within a couple of days. And I realize that you do a lot of business with Enterprise. And I think you have your business on Sawmill Road?
Sawmill Road, yes.
Okay. So you have one bay in there right now, and is it 3 booths? Is that what you have right now?
We have 2 paint booths, one's a double wide booth.
Right.
So we can put 2 cars, so 3 total bays for the light painting work that we do on the bumpers.
And we all received from our planning commission the questions, and I'll even call him out, Mr. Brown. He had some excellent questions to you, and I went over and spoke with Mike. Can you explain the difference between why you refer to it as paintless?
Yeah, the paintless dent removal, it's an acronym we use is PER. We do a lot of that. It's for these small dings and dents that we can push out from the backside without having to sand it, put body filler, and refinish it. We just push them out, and you still have your factory finish. Yeah, we do a lot of that, and when it hails, it's a perfect way to fix all those thousands of little hail dents without having to put body filler. So it's a better repair for the vehicle. It's faster, less expensive, and preserves value because you still have your factory finish.
You have a nice business over there. You go
Thank
back
you.
all the way to, which is 3 buildings back there now?
There's 5 buildings, I think, total behind us, and we've, in order to grow, we've been leasing spaces in 2 of the buildings behind us. The one directly behind us, we have 7, and the one behind that, we have 2. And I thought I'd known that the property was going to be sold. Cassia sold that a couple of years ago, and
Yeah.
I wish I'd have known because I would have tried to buy
Talk about
it.
that, yeah.
But I didn't know, and so now in order to expand, we're venturing out into those spaces. And that's how I realized that we don't have that special use even on our Poth Road buildings. I thought the 4 addresses that we have in our 2 buildings had that special use permit. So once I found out it's not, it's not, I don't even know why it's assigned to some of the Poth Road addresses, but not the others. So I wanted to make sure that, we bring everything into compliance.
You're good. You do a good job over there, I
Thank
think. I thank you. And I actually spoke with some of your employees, your first building, the young lady, the receptionist, and then I went down and talked to one of your estimators. And,
Oh,
yeah, very nice
I'm
people.
just down by.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for questions, answers.
Yeah, we've done very well in
Yes, you
Whitehall.
have. Yeah.
We moved Road in 97.
Weren't you on Hamilton Road before? No?
Never had a Hamilton
I thought
Road.
you were over on Hamilton back there.
Now, there is a similar business on North Hamilton in New Albany. It's another dent bumper repair type business.
But you do all your commercial there and your residential, is it up on Sawmill?
Sawmill,
Sawmill,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we do retail, trade, walk-in because of the busy Sawmill Road, obviously.
You keep it very clean. I noticed that if you have, you get a lot of vehicles in there, it looks like SUVs most of the time that are really, really banged up,
Yeah,
totaled. And they're never there for more than a day or two. Now, that's whether you're taking them out or putting them inside, but they're never out on the lot.
with our relationship with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, we write all the estimates for, I think there's 72 branches around
Wow.
Central Ohio. So all the vehicles that they rent out and get dinged up and even the collision ones, they'll bring them to us to write the estimate. We only do the minor repairs because we don't want the liability of the big, heavy damage. Plus, we like the turnaround time of having stuff in and out, and 3.4 days is our average turn time. So, but we write the estimates on the bigger stuff so they can collect from whoever the responsible party is. They use our estimate to collect from either their customer or their customer's insurance company. So that's why those are there. We don't fix them. We just write the estimates and they come and take them out.
You do a good job and keep it very clean. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak in favor of ordinance 54, 2022? So at this time, I will ask if there's anyone that would like to speak against or opponent of ordinance 54, 2022 may come forward and do it now. Hearing nothing, is that it? Do you have anything? Okay, I will close the public hearing on ordinance 54, 2022. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
She said it all at the planning commission meeting.
Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll
Did you? I was.
on whether each member of council was given a copy of each item of legislation listed on the agenda prior to the meeting and including any add-on legislation?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes?
Elmore.
Yes.
Tonight, under third reading, we have ordinance 54, 2022. It's amending the zoning map attached to chapter 1122 of the 1970 codified ordinances of the city of Whitehall, Ohio, as subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.12C5 to allow Magic Real Estate Holdings LLC to operate a paintless dent removal facility on property located at 4629, 4645, and 4651 Poth Road, and 181A, 181B, 181C, 181D, 181J, 181N, and 181P North Hamilton Road, property owned by HCI Midwest LLC.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 54, 2022 and move for its adoption.
Second?
I have a motion by Smith and a second by Dixon for introduction and adoption of ordinance 54, 2022. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Pott, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
All.
I was just looking, you threw me off and said you're looking at it.
Going back to typing in high school.
I guess that's a yes, okay. Yes.
Heck,
I'm back.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Ordinance 54, 2022 has been adopted. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if I may, thank you all for your consideration, but I also want to commend Kelsey and your city staff. They're very helpful through all of this, and your
Great.
city officials as well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
great evening.
I don't know where that came from. I don't. Ordinance 55, 2022, authorizing and approving an amendment to the authorized table of personnel 161.37E2 titled Police Division.
Mr. President Pro Tem, I'd like to introduce Ordinance 55, 2022, and move for its suspension. Move for its adoption.
Second?
I have a motion by Elmore and a second by Dixon for introduction and the adoption of ordinance 55, 2022. Is there any discussion?
Yes, with regards to ordinance 55, it's a change in the table and not the body of the legislation. And the change is deputy chiefs go from a 2 to a 3, lieutenants from a 4 to a 3, and they go to the UBU, then bargaining unit, and that's the change.
Everybody clear on that? Any questions? Mrs. Aug, you're back. Would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes?
Elmore.
Yes.
Ordinance 55, 2022 has been adopted. That is all of our third readings for tonight. Under second reading, we have no legislation, so we'll move on to first readings. We have ordinance 62, 2022. It's authorizing and approving a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $13,000 from unappropriated monies in the general fund 101 to the pre-employment miscellaneous expense account 101.450.52,500 and declaring an emergency.
President Pro Tem, I'd like to introduce ordinance 62, 2022, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Elmore, a second by Cantor for introduction and suspension of rules on ordinance 62, 2022. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes?
Elmore.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 62, 2022.
President moves to adopt.
Second?
I have a motion by Elmore, a second by Cantor for adoption of ordinance 62, 2022. Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes?
Elmore.
Yes.
Ordinance 62, 2022 has been adopted. Ordinance 63, 2022, making fund transfer in the amount of $65,845.09 from the bond retirement account 101-950-57,500 to the debt service fund 401 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President Pro Tem, I'd like to introduce ordinance number 63, 2022, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Heck and a second by Elmore for introduction and suspension of rules on ordinance 63, 2022. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes?
Elmore.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 63, 2022.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion by Heck, a second by Elmore for adoption of ordinance 63, 2022. Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes?
Elmore.
Yes.
Ordinance 63, 2022 has been adopted. Ordinance 64, 2022, making a fund transfer in the amount of $33,082.06 from the bond retirement account 101-950-57,500 to the debt service fund 401 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Pro Temp, I'd like to introduce ordinance number 64, 2022, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Smith and a second by Heck for introduction and suspension of rules on ordinance 64, 2022. Is there any discussion? Ms. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes?
Elmore.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 64, 2022.
I move for the adoption.
Second.
I have a motion by Smith and a second by Heck for the adoption of ordinance 64, 2022. Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Ordinance 64, 2022 has been adopted. Ordinance 65, 2022, authorizing and approving amendments to the 161.30 titled Surety Bonds and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President Pro Tem, I wish to introduce ordinance 65, 2022, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Dixon and a second by Cantor for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 65, 2022. Is there any discussion? Ms. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Rules have been suspended on ordinance 65, 2022.
Mr. President Pro Tem, move to adopt.
Second?
I have a motion by Dixon and a second by Cantor for adoption of ordinance 65, 2022. Ms. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Ordinance 65, 2022 has been adopted. Ordinance 66, 2022, authorizing the execution and delivery of community reinvestment area agreement between the city and Mama Company, Inc., Woda Cooper Development, Inc., or a designee, and declaring an emergency. That ordinance 66, 2022 is being read by title only. Ordinance 67, 2022. Authorizing a transfer in the amount of $75,000 from unappropriated monies in General Fund 101 to Accrued Benefit Reserve Fund 505. Authorizing and approving a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $75,000 from the 505 Accrued Benefit Reserve Fund to the 505.000.51,000 Accrued Benefit Reserve Expense Account and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 67, 2022 is being read by title only. Resolution 33, 2022, authorizing the mayor and the council of the city of Whitehall to adopt by resolution the use of an employee dishonesty and faithful performance of the duty coverage in lieu of bonds to cover loss by fraudulent or dishonest actions of employees and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President Pro Temp, I'd like to introduce Resolution 33-2022 and move for the suspension of the rules, please.
Second.
I have a motion by Cantor, a second by Dixon for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 33, 2022. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Rules have been suspended on Resolution 33, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Temp. Move for the adoption, please.
Second.
I have a motion by Cantor, a second by Dixon for adoption of Resolution 33, 2022. Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Resolution 33, 2022 has been adopted. Resolution 34, 2022. Resolution supporting issue 10, proposed tax levy renewal for the support of senior citizen services in Franklin County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President Pro Tem, I am pleased to introduce Resolution 34 and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Dixon, a second by Elmore for introduction and suspension of rules on Resolution 34, 2022. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Rules have been suspended on Resolution 34, 2022.
Move to adopt.
Second.
A motion by Dixon, a second by Elmore for adoption of Resolution 34, 2022. Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
Resolution 34, 2022 has been adopted. This is our second opportunity for full public. Anybody wishing to come forward, just state your name and address for the record, and you have up to 3 minutes.
Good evening, Whitehall Council. Joy Bivens, 4985 Doral Avenue, Whitehall, Ohio. Window, Columbus, Ohio, 228 Oneida Drive. We want to thank you on behalf of every senior here in Franklin County on being the first municipality to support through resolution, issue 10. As I said before, this issue, this issue on the ballot is going to impact so many seniors as it relates to home delivered meals, emergency response systems, roofs being placed on seniors' homes, even though Shonda wouldn't put it on my house, but it's okay. Ramps, all these wonderful services that allow seniors to age in place. So thank you so much, and we cannot wait to go back and tell the community that Whitehall was the first municipality to publicly support and endorse this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
I agree. I just want to reiterate, there's more than 60,000 seniors annually that the levy serves, and so the passage of this levy is more important than ever. We know that our senior population is the fastest growing
Yes.
population, and so we are in a state of urgency, and again, thank you so much for stepping up and representing, and hopefully we can get everyone else to follow your lead.
And thank you for the work that you do.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Is there anyone else? That brings us to Community Date Board. Anybody have anything?
This Friday, they're having movie night at the YMCA at 7:30. It's going to be Hocus Pocus 2. They'll serve popcorn and light refreshments. Also on October 12th from 5:30 to 6:30 at Central Bark, they're having Barktoberfest. So bring your dog.
And it is unlimited trash collection day tomorrow, so.
It is, yeah.
That's it.
let's get it
We
out
also
tonight.
have, go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, best get it out tonight.
Okay, yeah, get it out tonight. You can do it tomorrow morning. They don't come over to your residence in the afternoon. Trick or treat is Monday, October 31st from 6 to 8. And trunk or treat is at the City Hall parking lot from 5 until 8, October the 31st. You gonna do Halloween? You're not gonna do that? She'll announce that next week then, I guess.
I will announce it next week.
Okay.
Mr. Cantor, you're up for a poll.
Oh, I'm first, oh, cool.
Since you're
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Segue.
Ladies, thank you very much for coming. I knew why you were here. But yeah, it's a good thing, especially when some, we get our age, it really is. And I say our age because I'm probably the only one up here that is a senior, so. But I take that very proudly. Also, it's October, and I say it or else Councilperson Coniston says it. It's touched both of us, and unfortunately, it's touching my family again this year. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There's about 42,000 people that die a year from this, and last few years it's been tough. But Karen and I have always talked about it. I want to thank everybody for coming. Lori, we'll get through this. I love you. That's all I have. I love you, girls. That's all I have. Thanks.
Joanna?
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Thank you, everybody watching from home. Thank you for those that came. Thank you, Attorney Bivens, for shedding a light like you always do this month and pretty much all the time on domestic violence, and making it such a prominent awareness for the community. I think you guys, we offer such great resources, so I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for coming and talking on issue 10. I proudly support it. And that's all I have.
Great. Amy?
That's me. Oh, geez. I'll say a lot of the same things, right? Thank you for everybody watching at home, and thanks for those that came in. I also want to second what Councilperson Heck said. Having that victim advocate is, I don't know about other cities, but I assume pretty rare that you can get in touch with somebody, not have a case pending, and get those resources you need.
Especially like our Lorena Lacey.
Yes, she is great.
She's
That's
good.
rare.
'Cause I know that's what scares a lot of people away, the legal side of it, so not having a case pending is a great thing. Thank you for coming in, and speaking about issue 10, getting that renewed, that's vital to keeping those services for those people. And get out and enjoy, Whitehall's got so many fun things happening. There's several movie nights at the YMCA, Joanna mentioned one, and get out there and have some fun, so.
Cool. Jared?
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. I'd like to thank everyone that tuned in or is listening, whether from home or here in the audience. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for your comments, Ms. Lingo and Ms. Bivens. I appreciate that, and I wholeheartedly support issue 10. I'll help get the word out if needed, et cetera. As far as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it's a very sensitive subject for me, having grown up in a home with domestic violence. So when it comes to the community spreading the knowledge of that, that's great and everything, but I have my own personal experience, and I don't know what to say in a larger societal way about all of that, but I do appreciate any and all efforts extended to raise awareness for it and to help put an end to it if at all possible. And that's it. Thank you.
Lori?
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Thank you for those that are viewing tonight. City Attorney Michael Bivens, you always speak with so much passion. Domestic violence is something that you guys started. You continue to champion. Lorena Lacey is she is a lion. When it comes to this issue, you've grown that program and office, and I'm just so glad that we have that for people to be able to come to, not just in Whitehall, but, hopefully at some point we'll get, we'll touch a lot of hearts and a lot of people, and that's something that's definitely needed. Also, thank you for coming out and supporting or recognizing that issue 10, the proposed tax levy is really, really important to seniors. I'm right around the corner, I think. I don't know, I've told so many lies about my age, I don't even know how old I am sometimes. But anyway, I know I'll be approaching that time here shortly or soon. And I'm just glad that there are services. Our seniors are in desperate need of services. With inflation, with everything going up, it is very, very difficult to live on your means. So any help that we can give is greatly, I'm sure, greatly appreciated. So I support the issue, and I'm pleased even to pass it. Also, just thank you for the other people that came out, and whoever wants to have their business here in Whitehall. This is the place of opportunity, and we have great people in administration, and so come, make this your home. And with that, I turn it back to you, President Pro Tem.
Great, thank you. Well, everybody pretty much covered everything. However, Michael, I wanted to also touch on something you shared, and that is the promise that you just made that your office provides for the victims of domestic violence, having actually witnessed that service and the support you give victims of domestic violence. It's much appreciated, and the man is true to his word, and his whole staff is that way, and I appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to say is Dent Magic's over on Poth Road, and what was on my mind is we had two sisters that their family lived on Poth Road. Their last name was Poth. They were teachers at Whitehall, and that was what was on my mind when I asked for Mrs. Poth to call the roll. So it took me back to high school.
Didn't they put the Poth in Poth Road?
Yes, it was the road. They had their farm there. So,
Two sisters.
at this time, I will
Doris and
take
Marvine.
a motion to adjourn.
Motion is adjourned.
Second.
Yeah.
I have
I'll
a
let
motion
Shandy
by
know.
Elmore, a second by Cantor to adjourn. Mrs. Aug, would you please call the roll?
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes,
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, they keep bringing that back.